It's been like the worst day ever. Fine. I'll tell you what happened. First off, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, literally. I woke up underneath my bed. How does that even happen? I was uncomfortable and ugh. So then I go downstairs to get my breakfast, fill up a big bowl of cereal, and then I take the milk and it's expired. So I do the smell test and it's totally spoiled. But I gotta eat breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. So I pour it in anyway and I eat this spoiled, and I feel terrible. Then my kids wake up and I'm like, finally, my kids, they'll be happy, right? Wrong. They're just like annoyed and grumpy and loud and fighting and arguing, and I'm like, golly gee. So then we get in the vehicle, I drive them, I drop them off at school, and I'm like, finally, a little bit of quiet. So I go to get a coffee, right? I park the car, get my coffee, come back, lo and behold, a parking ticket. Well, I guess it's time to go see Professor T. Bet she can help me. Doubt it.
Whoa, what is wrong with you, Mr. B?
It's been the worst day ever. I'm talking of all time. It's just been miserable. And to top it off, my kids are fighting and arguing, and it's unfair.
Wow. You kind of remind me of Habakkuk.
Did you just call me a fish? A halibut? Halibut.
No, Habakkuk.
Are you trying to say habitat?
No, Mr. B, Habakkuk. He's a prophet in the Bible.
Okay, what about him?
Well, Habakkuk looked at the life around him and he just felt like life was unfair due to all the messes from sin. And he was frustrated.
I totally can connect with this Habakkuk guy. Yeah.
So he cried out to God.
Okay, and then what happened to Habakkuk?
Well, he then had to wait on God to answer him.
Okay, so
Habakkuk.
Anyway, he waits, and did God answer him?
Absolutely, but maybe not in the way Habakkuk thought. It's kind of like this, Mr. B.
Yeah?
You see this?
Cherry pie filling? It's my lucky day!
Doesn't it look yummy and delicious?
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah, don't you just kind of hope for some of this?
Ooh, I hope I can get my hands on some of this.
I know. And do you pray for it?
I pray for cherry pie filling.
Yeah, and does God give you cherry pie filling?
Yes. No.
Not always. You see, sometimes when we pray, Mr. B, God doesn't give us what we pray for. And it's because he knows what's best for us. And sometimes, Mr. B, he tells us to wait even.
Well, that certainly was unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like when we pray, God answers us in many different ways.
Huh. Do you have any cherry pie filling anywhere, or is this... My day's even getting worse here. I gotta think about this.
Bye, Mr. B.
That was quite the trick Professor T played with that cherry pie filling, which I hope I do get some, because those peas did not look nearly as good. But in Habakkuk 1 verse 3, it says this: "Must I forever see these evil deeds? Why must I watch all this misery? Wherever I look, I see destruction and violence. I'm surrounded by people who love to argue and fight." You see, Habakkuk was frustrated by all the crummy things going around him, the injustice, the unfairness, and he cried out to God and said, "God, put an end to all this bad stuff going on." And God answered his prayer, but not the way that Habakkuk expected. Instead of turning the nation back to God, God sent an enemy nation to take over. And that enemy nation not only attacked, but they won. They defeated God's people and they took them into exile. They took them away. Not good at all. Habakkuk did not get the answer that he expected. And that's a lot like it is today. Sin and sadness and unfairness is all around us. And we might ask God, what are you doing? Where are you? Are you even here with us? But God says to us what he said to Habakkuk back then: "I am with you. I will never leave you. I'll never forsake you. And even though it may seem hard and terrible, I'm sending my son Jesus." And when God sent his son Jesus to earth, Jesus conquered death through his death and resurrection. And because of that, even the most terrible and hardest things in our life can be overcome through Jesus. So as we learn from Habakkuk, we too, even in tough times, can turn to God and trust in him and his promises. Well, yes, I'm hoping, yeah. Jiminy Christmas. What in the world?